We still missing Blue Truck, but we're working on it. Kiki wanted to come outside. It's a beautiful day. Don't you think it's pretty? Oh man. I was gonna open up the adventure trailer and I was looking for the keys, couldn't find them. I wish the one thing that I had done when I was younger was to learn Latin. Yeah, we had Latin class, I remember. I can't remember anybody that actually took it, but we actually had it in high school, along with French and Spanish, and I lasted 2 years or 2 lessons worth of Spanish before I gave up on that. Just talked way too fast. But Latin, that's another story. I wish I learned that, because, you know, if you think about it, that was the last society that actually valued knowledge and wisdom. Everyone since that only cares about power and braggadocio. That's all that matters. How much power you can manipulate upon others, and how big a mouth you got. Looks like our park manager is back. He took a few days off to take care of some things, so he's back to work. We'll get up to Blue Truck here in a little bit, pry that damn Vband clamp off and get that turbo off of there and start fixing it. Actually fixing it. We're gonna have to be starting to cut the grass here soon. That's the one thing we don't have with us, never thought to have, was a weed eater. Might have to get one. Well, we are back at it. Have to be careful with the wind. If you put something down, it'll go flying off. We are this close to getting the turbo off. The only holdup is this V-band clamp. Not this specific one, but a smaller one, very similar to this, just smaller diameter. This V-band clamp came out the downpipe. The other smaller one, which we're having difficulty with, it feeds the turbo from the exhaust from the engine. So there's a pipe leading from the engine exhaust pipe with a flange on it, and then another flange on the other side of the turbo, and they meet up in the groove here in the middle. And when you tighten the nut down, it makes a nice, good, tight seal. No leaks. But getting these things off can be a big problem, especially a smaller one, because it's been there on there for 24 years. And once you loosen the nut, basically it's free, but it won't move. It's oriented in this position. It was thankfully oriented in the correct position, because if somebody builds this engine with the turbo on and manages to get it put in the truck like that, and they tighten that clamp on the back like that, you ain't getting the damn thing off, because you will never get to it. It has to be like this to be able to get to it. So thankfully it was like that. But it's loose now, but it does not want to let go. Thankfully it's sectioned out. So we may end up ruining it. If we have to, we will just have to just bend it and bend it, keep pushing it apart and pushing it apart until the seal breaks. But you see, it's in 3 sections. So you loosen the first section up, the next 2, they gotta, all 3 sections have to come loose for this thing to come off. And without this thing losing its seal, that turbo is not gonna go anywhere. It'll move now, where before it wouldn't move. So we know we have everything, all the bolts loosened that need to come off. But we just have to break this seal, and there's just no room. It's back behind the turbo, right next to the firewall, basically in this position right here. Now imagine one a lot smaller than that, and this is the firewall, and the turbo is our thumb basically. That's how much room you have back there. You can't put your hand behind it. You can't put your hand below it. You can put your hand just right at the top, just barely, but you can barely touch this area right here. So you can't pull it apart. There's no way to pull it apart. So what we're thinking is we're going to try to pry it up off the tube, something like that, maybe. But there's not enough room this way, and then 2 now. It's the engine, so right here is stuff. We don't have a whole lot of room. This is probably not, it's going to be too long. So I brought a tire spoon. And I do have this claws foot right here. I think this is that pulls the fasteners on plastic parts. And worst case scenario, we'll see if we can drive this thing in like that to get it started, because it is on there. Even though it's loose, the bolt's not tight, it just does not want, it's, you know, it's supposed to stay in a circle anyway. So its memory is really hard. It doesn't want to let go of its memory. That's its lifetime purpose, is to hold fast. It does not want to let go. 24 years. We're going to have to break its spirit, or convince its spirit to break for us temporarily, so it can have a new lease on life again for another 24 years of honest, integral work. What do you say, Vband clamp? Are you going to cooperate? Let's hope so. Let's see if my addition works. I'm sure it will. My leg's dangling. It's just, whew, it's rough. I don't know if this is tall enough. I don't think it is. But before, my legs just dangled, and it was not fun at all. So let's see if this helps any. That damn V-band clamp does not want to come loose. Does not want to break free at all. It is on there and does not want to break free. And you can't get anything back there to pry it apart. The wastegate actuator is in the way, and I'm wondering if I can take it off, but God, you can't see anything. It's just feeling through gloves is what you're doing. Closing your eyes, Feeling it through the gloves and imagine it in your brain. That's what you're doing here. So there feels to be two fasteners, whether those are bolts or screws, I don't know, that's holding the wastegate actuator on. But we will see if we can possibly get a mirror back there with a flashlight on it and see. Way back in the back. I put this cooler up here. I don't know. It's a lot of, when you want to come down, you can at least touch something now, but you know, whether it's sturdy enough is a different story. Maybe we'll push it over to one side so we know it's on one side, but this is the wastegate actuator right here. There's a bracket on the back with two bolts pointing this way, back behind there. So maybe we can get a flashlight and a mirror and see. Because, I mean, if we don't know what it is, a bolt or a screw, wouldn't you? I mean, you know. What the problem is way back behind there. You see where the actuator is. All right, behind it and below it is where that clamp is, holding the turbo onto that exhaust pipe. So it just does not want to come loose, and it's right near the firewall. You see how much room there is. I can't even barely get my hand back there before I hit the firewall. And I can't even reach the clamp from here. Clamp is down there. Right in there is where that clamp is. Yeah, I still can't even touch it. That thing is right there. This V-band clamp is kicking my ass, let me tell you. This is, we're just gonna have to keep fiddling with it and fiddling with it and fiddling with it. We'll get it off there. I'm gonna go get a pry bar now. I've taken a video of it back there. I can at least get a kind of visual of what it actually looks like. I had to stick my phone back there with a flashlight to know what it actually looks like now. So let me go get a pry bar. And this thing is really testing me. It's biting me too. Look at that. Oh, my skin is dry. All this being out here in the wind. I went and had to get this board because, man, it is sketchy up there. It's getting really tiring to lay down too and try to do anything laying down. I've tried so many different things to pry this clamp apart back there, but it is so tight on there. It is so tight it doesn't want to release, even though it's loose at the top. This is still so tight, and there's no room to stick anything back behind there to pry it up. There's no way to get to it. You have like this much room on either side. This is all you have. It is rough. Onward and upward. Eventually it'll kick my ass. Yeah, we're still struggling on the Vband clamp. We're going to take the wastegate actuator off now. It's a pain in itself to take off, but maybe it'll give us enough room to maneuver some kind of tool in there to pry this clamp off with. It's similar to this, but about half the size. It's oriented like this, and there's just no room back there. You got an inch on the front and an inch on the back, and that's it. And it does not want to come loose. We're going to take the wastegate actuator off. That'll give us just a little bit more room to get something in there and pry it up with. Well, we're making headway. We got the last nut off of the wastegate actuator, and you can see it was a lock nut. And look how I had to go about that. This part right here was touching something. It had to be angled just about something like that right there. Oh my God, it was awful. Now that we got this nut off of there, maybe we can pull the wastegate actuator out of the way, and that'll give us more room. That shiny thing there, now it's loose, but it's still attached to the arm. We'll have to see, it's a spring. We'll have to do the arm down there on the other end, and this will come out of the way where we can look. It's taking up a lot of room. The clamp is right behind it, So if we can move this, that'll give us more room to maybe pry that clamp off. Well, we got the wastegate actuator off. You can see how big that is, and the clamp is right behind it back here. So this being out of the way is a big deal. My God, it took me 2 hours to get those two little nuts off of there. I'm not kidding you. So it was right here. Now we got room to get back there. It'll help a little bit. It's not in the way, and that rod that was going across is not in the way anymore, so that'll help. But we still got to get that clamp off of there. Oh my God, this thing's kicking my ass. Everybody says that clamp back there, that's the hardest part. Well, day 4 of kicking my ass. But we have everything off except for that one clamp. We took the wastegate actuator off, so tomorrow we will have the room to get that clamp off one way or the other, even if we have to destroy it. We have a beautiful sunset going on. It's beautiful out there. So tomorrow, that clamp's coming off. It can either come off willingly or it can sacrifice itself in the process. One of the two ways.